in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to go from this cheap ass Amazon wig that was like 20 bucks to this Harley Quinn kind of sparsey in the back wig, but for, I mean, $20 it's pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. So I started out with this wig here that is white or like an off silver kind of tone, and I, as always in any wig tutorial or any wig transformation tutorial, I always pin down my wig just because I feel like it's a lot easier to work with it and always have a reference picture. Ideally I would have used those little plastic elastic band kind of things that are specifically meant for hair, but these are all I had on hand at the time, so I just used some black ones and then took all of the hair except for basically like the bangs part and I put it back. This is just generally to get an actual idea of what I want to do rather than actually full on doing it. And once I had this done, I actually ended up going back in and putting them into their ponytails. Although, as you can see probably by the reference picture, her ponytails are a lot shorter than mine, but I wanted to keep some of the length because it is a very inexpensive wig, and so if I cut it too short, I'm afraid it just won't look right. And so I ended up wanting to make the ponytails up a little bit higher, so then when they sat down, they looked a little bit shorter. Past that, though, I did want to cut it all up, and if you guys look at the reference picture, you will be able to exactly tell what I did. It's just my hand got in the way a couple times here because I wasn't really focusing too much on the camera angle rather than the actual cut. Because once you cut this hair, it won't grow back because it is a wig. So I wanted to make sure I was very precise in where to cut these, even though her hair specifically generally isn't looking all that precise. The main thing to focus on is the fact that she has kind of two sets of bangs. She has very short ones and then a little bit longer ones that kind of taper off, and then just some that generally come down of approximately where her normal hair length would be. So basically 3 different parts besides her actual ponytails. Although I did end up changing this when it was actually on me because obviously a mannequin head isn't my exact size of my head. And when I brought everything down, I decided that the pieces at the side were a little bit too long for my liking because it is generally meant to be a little bit shorter, so I just wanted to cut those off. As for the color, because this isn't actual hair, it will not take to any hair dye, whether that be permanent or semi-permanent. So for this, I'm going to be using the method of using permanent markers. Now, I have done a video on this before, if you do want to look in the description box down below. It's how to dye a synthetic wig, but basically I'm going to be going over it really quickly, and it's you use the markers and you color in the wig like you would with anything else. You do have the option to wash this out if it gets a little bit too bright for what you're looking for, or if you are going to put this over top of your head and it's more meant for along the hairline rather than something that's hanging down, not touching you at all. So this might transfer a little bit to any white or any light colored clothing that you may have. But with that being said, you can wash it out so it doesn't actually transfer. Just wash it out with some cold water. I chose not to because of what I was wearing. It didn't even end up really touching, and it was darker anyways, and I didn't really mind. But the option is always there, and I definitely recommend to comb it out just a little bit so you can disperse the color a little bit more evenly, and it won't be all stuck together weirdly like how if your hair dries with conditioner in it, it's kind of stuck together in a chunky way. I also end up using a pink throughout it completely, and then a red a little bit more to the bottom of it to add a little bit more dimension, and I did the same to the green or the blue side I added. Most of it is going to be a blue, and then down by like the bottom portion I used a little bit more of a teal to create darker, even though in the video, which I will link below, of my actual Harley Quinn makeup tutorial, I ended up cutting it off anyways because Harley and Joker broke up.
Joker and I broke up.
If you know, you know. Oh, and if you haven't realized already, I am wearing one glove for this, the glove that I'm actually dealing with a permanent marker on, because it is permanent marker, so just like any kind of permanent marker, if you are dealing with it on your skin, it is going to stay. Not forever, but it will stain quite a bit, so definitely make sure to have some kind of glove on, whether it be reusable or just like any kind, literally any kind, guys. And as I said, and as you can see in the back of it, it is a little bit sparse, but that's what you get for getting a wig off of Amazon. If you do spend more on this wig, obviously a little bit better, especially if you get like a lace cap or a full lace wig. It'll be a lot less noticeable in the back, but that is it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!